So why me? I have never made a video exclusively explaining why me. What is this Ascension stuff all about and where did it come from? Initially, my journey started in chiropractic school because I felt I needed to get more of myself out of the way to be better with my patients. And it all started with the Landmark Forum. Then it was a plethora of readings and teachings, including Napoleon Hill, Dale Carnegie, Deida, Eckhart Tolle, Tony Robbins, Abraham Hicks, Star's Edge and Avatar, spiritual direction through the Catholic Church with Sister Connie and Sister Deida, and on and on. And that's only about half of my research and study. After all the time and money spent, I realized I was better off praying because, for the most part, these teachings are about being better than another, as in me versus you, and ultimately just kept me busy. Praying's also free. I really delved into this after my father's passing back in April of 2005. Was this a coincidence? Maybe. In 2003, I decided that if I was ever going to be happy, I was going to need to make some changes and follow the path that I was intended to. There had always been a lurking of some elusive book I was going to write. But why me? I had been a relatively successful chiropractor and did everything I could to be great at it, as it was my primary intention. Despite the never-ending battle for my own independence with my father and my behind-the-scenes mother, I was bored. Eventually, I bought a home, which initially was great until it became a burden. Finally, I sold it, bought a sports car, moved to downtown San Diego, trying to recreate a previous time when I was happier. In the end, I mostly just drank, circling and cycling until I understood why I was here on earth. Path and purpose set me free versus the battle with the bottle, something Don Johnson and I have in common. I hurt some people along the way because of my drinking, for which I'm truly sorry. In the end, I was reduced to a cup of coffee at Barnes & Noble, a pen, and a piece of paper. And this is all in book 1. The words on the paper eventually became my first book, titled Ascension, Book 1, Me versus You. The title seemed simple, but when expanded, it summed up everything happening in the world and the why from my perspective. I've been told that Ascension is the head book of head books. Still, why me? And even more elusive of a question is, why would anybody listen to me? I still don't have a concrete and viable answer to the question, but I will say that somewhere in my chiropractic years, I realized that people were not only coming in for a spinal adjustment, but also for a head adjustment. Somewhere in all the madness, I discovered that I had an affinity for words and that I could write. I don't know really where it came from. I didn't major in English or writing of any kind in high school or college, and yet here we are. My only real explanation or viable explanation is divinity, as in path and purpose. But again, why me? During the pandemic, I went to the library every day and wrote book 2. At the time, the only place you could sit at the library was outside because of COVID, and upon completion, I decided to create educational videos about Ascension and post them on YouTube, and eventually Facebook when I had the balls. What are people going to think was my fear? But finally, I went for it anyways. So here we are. That's it. Every week I try to stay current with respect to what is going on in the world and relate the goings on to Ascension. Some weeks my videos are better than others. I've sold some books, but I need more exposure to help others and their own personal suffering and war. Currently, I don't have any physical proof that this is the way to the go. I mean, why would anybody take this on? The only answer I have is that the alternative is being stuck in an unknown game of unknown will, circling and cycling and being consumed by it every day. And then the end game. There you are, shuffling your shopping cart through the aisles of Walmart, barely able to walk, talk, see, listen, or hear. Hey, Sonny. I've been on this path since 2005, and I have nothing to show for it other than words on paper. Again, why should anybody listen to me? In retrospect, I could have, cultivated my practice every day, fought through the boredom, got married, and had a few kids. Yeah, I may have been a good husband and father, and yes, there could have been periods of joy, but in the end, something would always have been missing. Could I have done both? Maybe. Let's get something straight here. Politics bores me. The lies and deceit are endless no matter which side of the coin you are on. And just when you think it can't get any worse, it does. Pointing out how deep this game is doesn't seem to make much of a difference, especially with respect to the media, because it's all about money and ratings. And they are very busy circling and cycling towards oblivion and keeping you stuck in that circle and cycle. I mean, what would life be like if there wasn't always something? While we live in a 12-month cycle of seasons and holidays. Think about it. Y'all would be bored. And then, magically, all that is left is path and purpose versus fighting. So what have I learned? Well, aspiration is the ability to step back and look around. You can't be consumed by your game in the game when you separate yourself from the madness and confusion. So step back and look around. Anybody can do that. 2, Ascension requires consistency and diligence to heal your past games and recoup lost or dispersed energy that allows you to see truth. So you take the energy back so you can remember. 3, if everyone did this, personal suffering and war could and maybe would dissipate and maybe come to an end, and thus allowing us to create heaven on earth no matter how lofty that sounds. And I know that sounds big and almost crazy. 4, no one is perfect and neither am I. I struggle with engagement in the game every day. Lucifer is always lurking around the corner, and boy, is he sneaky. 5, I'm hopeful I can make a difference in people's lives, including my own. To anyone I have hurt along the way, from the bottom of my heart, I'm truly sorry. You know who you are, so I don't need to mention names. 7, finding new and different ways to say the same thing over and over again is challenging. So what's next on this path and purpose journey thing? I've come this far, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep trucking. I'm Dr. Simone Bahou, retired DC and author of Ascension. To learn more about Ascension, go to iUniverse.com or copy and paste in the browser on the link in the description portion of this video. Thank you for listening and watching. Please like, subscribe, and share if compelled, and have a spectacular day. I'll see you soon.